Wales against Italy, 38 points to 18. Kind of a familiar story for the Italians of not being able to run for the full 80 with a more fancy team. I've only just finished watching this one, and it's like almost 5 o'clock in the afternoon here in New Zealand. So I was kind of in two minds as to how this was going to go as I watched it. Like, I watched it on demand and not knowing the result. But given how late I left it, like, I went out, took the kids out for a walk, and I was exposed to enough passing radio and TV that I feel like I probably would have seen a spoiler if it had been a big upset win. So, in the back of my mind, I think I knew that Wales was probably going to win, even if at times Italy were in front. But anyway, I will go through some of the main points of the game, some of the stats, and you guys let me know on how you thought this one ended up playing out. Seems like a bit of a rejigged side. Jonathan Davis was at 12. Apparently, Williams pulled out late. And a rejigged side was kind of a theme for this Wales pack today. Like, at one point you had Wainwright packing down in the second row because Alan Wynne-Jones went off. It was just all a bit disjointed, but it didn't seem to matter a jot over the 80 minutes. It started with Italy actually winning a couple of penalties. They went 10 phases, actually had some decent attack before Josh Adams was the recipient of an Italian pass, so he was able to kind of get them out of jail. But they did manage to get the first points, did the Welsh, despite the Italians maybe having the slight opening phases. Tipperick, and he had a big game. Tipperick didn't get player of the match, but he had a big game. He was into some space. The dummy that he threw was brutal. I forget which Italian defender was coming back, but the Italian defender went for the intercept. But Tipperick, man, he's a cool customer. He saved the pass for Hardy till that defender was already gone out of his way because he fell for the dummy. So, hell of a try. 7 points to 0. Italy's kickoff from that one was too big. So they went back to a scrum halfway. And then it was Wales who won a scrum penalty at that scrum. So at that point, I'm thinking, okay, yeah, Wales are finally going to show up and the Italians are going to get a bit of a hiding. 14 minutes, the TMO checks a clean out for Liam Williams on Carlo Canna, but he rules that it was legal. Carlo Canna seemed to have the contact lenses knocked off him. So it was a hell of a clean out, but the ref said it was legal. 16 minutes, Wales go like 16 plus phases. And actually, that was without the aforementioned Liam Williams, who'd gone down injured. So he wasn't even in the line. And the TMO eventually has to check if there was a try, because the ref said he can't see it being grounded, but he gave it an on-the-field try based on like what he had seen. And it's given. So Parry gets a try on his... I think it's the first time he started for Wales, so yeah, good effort from him. It looked like it was try. Like the TMO, you could never see the ball over the ground, but it had to be. It just had to be. So yeah, 14-0 for Wales. Johan Lloyd comes on for Liam Williams, but it's looking like all Wales. I'm thinking they're going to run riot. They're doing old Wayne Pivac a favour before they go into the international break anyway up in the Northern Hemisphere. However, things started to go a little bit awry. Louis Rees-Zammit kicked it out on the full, not knowing that one of his teammates had just slightly passed it back into the 22. So that gave the Italians a chance. They won a penalty not long later at the breakdown, and they decided to kick it to get on the board. They didn't want to get nilled, so 14-3, maybe shifting a bit of the momentum, and that seemed to do the trick because Zanon gets the next try for Italy. A bit of magic, that one. Proper bit of magic. Carlo Canna, we know he plays 10 a fair bit, so he's got that skill set in him. A good little kick through, like perfect bounce for Zanon. Good timing for the run. Like, it was just an absolutely well worked move, like a bit of telepathy between the guys, a good call or whatever it was. So yeah, really, really easy on the eye. And suddenly it's 14-10. Like, Italy's not really been in the game, and it's 14-10. I wrote a note to myself, pressure. Question mark. And I wrote another note definitely saying game on, because at that point it is game on. And then 37 minutes, Varney gets a big old line break. Good pass from Mbunda. And then Josh Adams gets yellow carded because upon snaffling that line break down, Adams just gets over the ball without a clear release. So he's killing the ball, not releasing it, so the Italians aren't able to free up for the attack. The referee rules that was cynical, and he's 10 minutes in the bin. Italy opt for the 3, so it's 14-13. Now at that point, 14-13, with Wales and the man in the bin, I'm starting to wonder about Wayne Pivac's job. But it was still early days. Danger time Wales is the note. I also wrote next to that, Danger time Wales / or Italy fall apart in the second half. Because we've seen it before, man. Italy have been competitive for large periods of these games, but not over the 80. That's been the problem. Half time, it goes in with that 1 point difference. 45 minutes though, second half, Sheedy kicks a penalty, so it's 17-13 after a few kind of sloppy penalties from Italy, and it seemed like they were taking the foot off the gas a bit, just relaxing a bit. So yeah, not a good look. But in terms of not taking your foot off the gas, they put the foot back on the gas. Meyer with his try, Johan Lloyd won't want to see that one back because that was brutal. And he's in terms of the weight distribution between these two guys, like that's not even a fair contest, man. This is like a middleweight against a featherweight. That was brutal. Meyer is on the right wing. He's steaming along. Johan Lloyd lines him up. But Meyer just tucks and Lloyd just goes flying. That'll be a highlight reel one, but not for the kind of thing you'd want if you're Johan Lloyd. But anyway, at least he went for the tackle, man. Some guys would have just kind of let him run in. And that was all from a big clean break from Trua, actually, the fullback on the left wing. And they had the extra man, so they were using the width well. So pretty smart play from the Italians. And that's the lead change, man. They missed the conversion, but it's 18 points to 17. 18 points to 17. The Italians are actually in front. They've scored 8 points to 3 during that yellow card, so a pretty good profit for them. Yeah. And I've put, again, disaster, question mark. But, again, I was still pretty sure that the Wales were going to come back and win, because if there's a big upset, it's all over the radio and you can't kind of avoid it, like when you're driving and that kind of thing. 57 minutes is a bit of loose play from both sides, but eventually we get a try on 57 from Gareth Davis, and he added a bit of spark when he came on, to be fair. Faletau had the initial tackle bust, and he passed it to Davis, and he doesn't need any second invitation because he's got some wheels for a number 9. He burned the fullback, Trua, who tried to go for the ankle tap but missed it, and suddenly it's 24-18, suddenly looking a bit more comfortable for Wales. The Italians clearly didn't like that, because a few minutes later there's some handbags. There was a clash between Lewis Rees-Zammit and Garbisi in the air. That's Lewis Rees-Zammit's fault for that one. He needed to pull out earlier. But there's a bit of handbag, so there's clearly a bit of pressure on both sides. 64 minutes, Sheedy misses a drop goal. After Wales had a really long attacking period, the Italian defence did pretty well to hold it out. George North knocked it on. The Italian clearance was terrible, so Sheedy decided to take a drop goal, but that was pretty terrible, so it all kind of fizzled out. However, about 4 minutes later, North does get a try. It's turnover ball. The Italian defence did pretty well to try and scramble, because it seemed like Wales had, was it a 5-on-2 or at least a 4-on-2 overlap? It should have been kind of easy try, but they were still made to work for it, but they TMO'd it, and North is given the try in the end. So it's 31 points to 18, suddenly looking a bit more comfortable. Meyer is back in it again as he flings Sheedy into touch, and the commentary team I had didn't like that one. But Wales had the last laugh, because on 75 minutes, Tipuric gets a try. He's had the try assist before. This time he gets the try itself. Sheedy showed some proper, I don't know, some proper composure, because he had the ball. There was rushing defenders, but he held it just long enough to get a bit of space. Pinpoint pass to Faletau, who gets the big old line break, and then he passes it to Tipuric on the left wing, who goes over for the try. Great conversion. The goal kicking was really good in this one as well from Wales, so it's 38-18. And 38-18 looks like a proper hiding. Maybe doesn't give the Italians enough credit for how good they were up until like a certain point, up until like, around about the hour mark. But the problem is you've got to play the full 80, otherwise it's kind of all for naught, isn't it? The Italians did have one or two chances right towards the end, the line out, but Wales won it. There was an attacking lineup for Italy, sorry. And Monty Ioane on the left wing, but got put into touch right on full time. So, yeah, it looks really comfortable on that scoreboard, but if you're a Welsh fan, I'm not sure how comfortable you feel. Are you like happy that your team managed to come back from behind and still managed to win with a 20-point gap? Even with a rejigged forward pack and late changes in the backs. Johan Lloyd even had to go off, like a sub got subbed. I think Holmes came on for Lloyd, which is pretty rare. Or are you thinking, man, the Italians pushed us for quite some time and that's a bit of an indictment on where the team is at the moment? You can probably look at it both ways, but certainly the result itself allows Wales to go into the international break anyway with a lot less pressure on them. So, yeah. Final stats, 55-45 is the possession in Wales' favour. Territory, 58-42. Run meters, 465 to 375, so it was proper entertaining in that regard. Defenders beaten 26-13, so double for the Welshmen. Clean breaks 13-8, so just generally attacking a fair bit sharper. Both sides tackled in the 80s. 84 for Italy, had to make 136 tackles. Wales 88 had to make 95, so it's not like it was double or anything, but still with a bit more work to do defensively, the Italians. Faletau finishes the number one run meters guy. Remember, he's a loosie. He's not a winger or a fullback. 84 run meters, 8 defenders beaten, 3 clean breaks. He got player of the match. It was going to be either him or Tipuric. Tipuric had pretty good attacking stats as well, like 40-odd run meters, but 14 out of 14 tackles, 5 turnovers. He's proper world-class, isn't he? Biji had 14 out of 14 tackles. Zeloki had 17 out of 20. So, yeah, it's an interesting one. Like I said, Gareth Davis added a bit of spark. They had to do it kind of against the odds with Alan Wynne-Jones going off and the forward pack being, not natural looking, but still. Job done for Wales. Kind of like the Ireland one against Scotland. It's one where you're really not sure. Is it just if they'd played like this against England or France, they would have gotten a defeat? Or is it proper bit of character from the guys to come back? I'll let you guys let me know what you reckon. I'll certainly say that from the Italian point of view, something needs to be done about the not going for the 80. I know that's easier said than done. It can't just be down to match fitness, surely. Maybe it's just depth on the bench. I don't know. And they are building, but it's just concerning. But good on Wales to show that bit of extra cutting edge to still manage to pull away pretty comfortably in the end. But, interesting run of games at the weekend. All pretty entertaining, which was nice. After all this nonsense about rugby being boring because too many bloody kicks, it's really fun to see 3 really entertaining games. We've still got one to go in the Autumn Nations Cup. That's England-France. We will see how that one goes for me anyway. It's tomorrow. But anyway, you guys take care, and I'll talk to you again soon. See you later.